I messaged a guy that I did not talk to for like 8 years, literally like hooked up with him like 8 years ago. And I randomly thought about him, like, you know, like when you're single at like 28, you start thinking about, oh, maybe from the past, like this is a good guy. And then when I sent bars, it didn't say delivered. So I was like, did he block me? So then I did this. Then he unblocked me and said, what's up? This is random. I said, well, why did you block me? He said, why are you texting me? I said, whoa, I don't know, to catch up. He's like, it's been 8 years. I said, damn, I didn't know people couldn't talk again. My bad. He's like, I have a wife and kids now.
We've all seen or heard this story before. She knew he was the right guy 8 years ago, but she rejected him. Now she wants a second chance, but it's already too late. He's no longer available, and regret is all that's left.
I was 24. I was with a really nice guy. He was a really nice guy, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want a really nice guy when I was 24, right? And so I ended things. I went back on the scene. I mean, things worked out. I got married, got a baby. But relatively speaking, if things didn't work out, and I said to myself, you know what? I do want a nice guy. I do want someone who's stable. I do want someone who's loving. Now that I'm older, I'm more reflective. I could say I've now changed my mind and I want to reconsider this. Now, whether or not he wants to give me a second chance, I would say he'd be dumb for doing so. But for me to go back, because I was the one who left, he was a good person. What I wanted has now changed.
Well, what if he wanted change too?
And now he don't want me?
Yeah.
I mean,
It don't be happening.
sometimes you come to the realization that what that person was is exactly what you needed. And that's why you do need to go back. Again, whether or not they want to give you a chance is up to them.
I messaged a guy that I did not talk to for like 8 years, literally like hooked up with him like 8 years ago. And I randomly thought about him, like, you know, like when you're single at like 28, you start thinking about, oh, maybe from the past, like this is a good guy. Yeah, no, this is what went down. First I messaged him, hey stranger. He said, sorry, who's this? I said, Leah Bars. And then when I said, well, I said Leah, haha, and then I said bars. And then when I sent bars, it didn't say delivered. So I was like, did he block me? So then I did this. I went to his Venmo and I sent him $1 and I said, did you block me? And then he unblocked me and said, what's up? This is random. And I said, well, why did you block me? He said, why are you texting me? I said, whoa, I don't know, to catch up. He's like, it's been 8 years. I said, damn, I didn't know people couldn't talk again. My bad. He's like, I have a wife and kids now. Plot twist, my bad. He said, think you're a weirdo. I said, right back at you. And then the conversation just ended and honestly woke up mortified. So please stitch this with any other stories that you have that are similar or worse than this, so it makes me feel better about my decisions. Thank you.
This is just another case of a woman who knew he was a good guy, someone who would have made a great husband, but like always, he was rejected. She only showed interest when she finally wanted to settle down. That's when she decided it would be a good idea to give him a chance. But as we can see, it didn't go as expected. She waited too long and missed her opportunity. Not long ago, I heard someone say that most women have already crossed paths with the man they're supposed to be with. But for one reason or another, he didn't seem good enough at the time, maybe even too boring in their eyes. So they let him go, keeping the idea that they could circle back to him later. But that strategy rarely works, just like what happened in this case. What she didn't realize is that these types of guys are in high demand. They don't stay single for long. They're usually scooped up quickly and taken off the dating scene. But for some reason, she assumed he'd always be around, waiting and ready for a relationship whenever she wanted. But she was wrong. He's gone, and her window of opportunity to get into that relationship disappeared with him. I guess someone just learned the hard way that she should have grabbed her spot while she had the chance, because now it's too late.
Whoever said men love when women shoot their shot is a damn lie. Because I slid into some men's DMs and I let him know he was handsome. And I told him, like, you know, you handsome and I might just let you take me to lunch. And he gonna leave me on red.
I bet the fuck he did leave you on red. It ain't no way y'all don't be thinking before y'all say shit, G. You really DM'd that man and said that shit and you expected a response? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I wish a woman would, gang. If a woman ever DM me and say, hey, you handsome, I just might let you spend your money on me.
So she basically told him he looked good and that she'd honor him by letting him spend money on her. Bold opener for sure, and that's exactly why she got the outcome she did. But what did she expect? What guy in his right mind would entertain that level of entitlement? Not many, and honestly, she was lucky her number wasn't blocked. What makes it even funnier is that she calls it shooting her shot, but that's really not how you go about it. You can't make a move on a guy while also reaching for his wallet. It just doesn't work like that.
Previously, my relationships, like, they just stepped up more financially. Especially since he's like 23, I expected him to like just buy me more stuff.
But you guys were only together for a month, so what were your expectations in terms of what he should have been buying you?
I sent him a picture of the Chanel bag that I wanted, and he didn't like buy me it. I feel like if a girl is sending you something like, oh, this bag is so cute, like, why is it not at the front of my doorstep the next day?
He's 23, bro.
Yeah.
How much do you think he spent on you total?
I don't know. We went on a date like at least once a week. 200 per date?
Did you guys hook up?
No.
If she wanted that, then it's okay to ask for it.
It's okay for her to ask for a $2,000 bag?
I mean, yeah, I think it's okay. You know, there's a guy out there that will actually give it to you if he really likes you.
Right? If I'm dating you, like, you know, I feel like you should understand me, you know? You know I want that back.
That sounds more like a sugar daddy than a boyfriend.
No,
yeah,
I
it
don't think
really
so.
does. And it's really hypocritical that you didn't even like care to know what job he had, but you want his money.
I don't want his money. I just feel like it's expected.
You want a guy to spend $2,000 on you within the first month. You gotta bump way up the age you're willing to date. I'm talking 40 plus. Unless he's a major simp, nobody under 40 is spending $2,000 on a girl they just met.
Okay.
This is exactly why the dating scene is getting more challenging. Why didn't she just buy it herself? They're in the same age range, so there really shouldn't be this level of expectation, especially when she also doesn't have it. It honestly amazes me that someone would expect so much from a guy in his early 20s. Why should he empty his bank account to buy an expensive bag for a woman he just met? The entitlement is through the roof, and what makes it even more interesting is that she genuinely sees nothing wrong with it. She thinks that it's perfectly normal to expect that kind of gesture from someone who's practically still a stranger. Maybe someone needs to ask for more hours at their McDonald's job, because the simping era is ending. Guys are no longer spending their hard-earned money on just anyone.
If he tells you you can't go to the club without him, will you listen to him?
Fuck no. I'm not going for men. I'm going for myself. And because I love dancing too.
If a man came and he grinded on you in the club, how would he feel?
Is it with my consent?
I mean, would you consent?
If I want to consent, that's different. But if I don't want to consent, that's gonna be different too.
Would you?
If I actually say yes, you can grab my ass. Yes, you can grab my ass.
What the fuck? And then he wouldn't.
He'll say, yeah, he'll say whatever you want to.
He'll say he'll be okay.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be my body.
I'm not sure.
He's not sure.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you trust her?
Yeah.
You had to think about that, man.
Yeah, I trust in her.
Things escalated quickly. The interview went from 0 to 100 in no time. He thought it would be just another fun night, but instead, he ended up gaining a clearer understanding of where he stands and how respect and consideration actually operate within their relationship. She believes that even though they're committed, he has no say in how she conducts herself at a nightclub or in the choices she makes on a night out. And that's exactly what makes their relationship so interesting. I think she's pushing things to another level. We all agree that everyone should be free to do what they want, but there are still certain things that should be avoided, especially when you're in a committed relationship.
I'm an independent woman. I do not have shared bank accounts. Never would, never will, with nobody. What's mine is mine and what's his is ours.
It was interesting to see how she wants to pick and choose when to be independent, but I think she needs to keep that same energy consistently. Things shouldn't suddenly change when his money enters the conversation. Someone who sees herself as independent shouldn't also rely on someone else's finances. That's just not how it works. Now I find myself wondering how he even ended up in that kind of dynamic in the first place. There shouldn't have been that level of separation to begin with, and she only made it more challenging by refusing to share her money.
No, yes, I'm going to dress up as a freaking angel for Halloween. I don't care what you say. I'm wearing the freaking lingerie. I'm putting on a freaking tutu. I'm putting on freaking white bands. I don't care. I don't actually care because you know what? That's who I am inside me, and that's who you freaking married. That's who you freaking said that you would freaking help when they're sick. And so what? Maybe I'm sick in the head by freaking wearing an angel costume, but whatever. This is what I'm getting for Halloween.
This is one of those situations where you don't need to say anything. Just let people be and do whatever they want, and you act accordingly. I think no one should be telling another adult how to conduct themselves. But at the same time, we all have the freedom to choose who we share our energy with. So now, it's up to each individual to make the right choice for themselves. It's completely fine if she wants to do those things, But she also needs to acknowledge that guys also have preferences and boundaries, especially those who are mature and confident.
Talking to multiple people at once is really weird because you'll have one guy that barely acknowledges you and barely even says good morning, and then you'll have another one that asks you for photo updates of the garden that you're growing. Take a guess as to which one you like more.
This is the true reality of the dating scene. While some guys are out here emptying their bank accounts and going above and beyond just to get the attention of a woman who clearly isn't into them, she's on the other side enjoying the benefits they are providing. While her feelings are still with Chad, the guy who hasn't even reached out to her in weeks. This is what really goes on. These guys are wasting their time and energy on women who are emotionally invested in someone else. Hopefully, they come to realize that you don't need to do too much to be liked. We heard what she said. The guy who's doing the bare minimum is the one who actually has her heart.
If we were to get together, what would you expect me to pay for in the relationship?
Going out to eat, and then just like little things. And eventually, if we're going to live together and all that, I'd expect you to take on more responsibility.
I'm covering rent, light, internet, groceries, your hair, nails, makeup, lashes, lipstick, shoes, clothes, everything?
Yeah, why not? Can you do it?
Of course, but why should I?
Because you're a man.
So because I'm a man, I'm expected to cover everything if I were to date you.
Right, and I'm a woman, right? And you'd expect me to put out, correct?
Absolutely.
Like you would expect to have relationships with me.
I mean, absolutely.
So I'd expect something back because I could at one point bear your children, and I would expect if I'm going to have 9 months of pregnancy to be able to have a husband who can take care of me.
Is this a new mindset that you have, or did you always think this way?
It's fairly new. I think when I was younger, there were points where I was more okay with paying and things like that, and I just found that it really does not benefit you at the end of the day. Like, you could pay and you could like really, really give more, but it's not the best. If you think about it, the world was kind of built for men.
In what ways?
I mean, it's a patriarchy. I know that's everybody hates that word. If you're a man, you probably hate that word, but the system is kind of designed for men, you know?
Do you think we'd still have as much success as we are as a society if we were in a matriarchy?
I'm not sure, but I do think that, you know, we live in a patriarchal society and there is still like so much misogyny in the world, and that's just the truth, you know? It's just the truth.
Does she plan to work at all? It seems like she believes women shouldn't have to. Which is exactly the kind of mindset you pick up from social media, and with that kind of outlook, I doubt things will be easy, especially now that the simping era is coming to an end. There just aren't as many men willing to engage in that kind of dynamic anymore. She believes all she needs to bring to a relationship is herself, while it's the man's job to provide everything else. That was definitely interesting. It's clear she sees relationships not as a connection with someone she genuinely like and wants to build a life with, but as a way to find someone who will pay her bills. This mentality is going to create real challenges for a lot of people in today's dating world, because more and more guys are no longer willing to commit to someone who doesn't plan to contribute anything beyond just being present.